our journeys around the country, my lady and me, we've done it for about 15 years. And we've experienced some magic things, some mysterious things, and some aliens. We headed out of Las Vegas, heading north. And we always take a different road when we travel. There aren't many roads in the desert. Well, we drove on this one, and we drove, and all of a sudden we saw this big sign. Extraterrestrial Highway. And it had alien pictures all over it. We said, wow, we're going that way. So I pulled our big 40-foot RV with our trailer behind, or car behind, and we started heading Alien Highway. And as I drive everywhere, I sort of daydream. And I had this dream of looking at the moon coming up over the desert when I was 2 days before. And you looked at the moon was going in and out of the clouds. And on the moon there was this beautiful saguaro cactus, if you know what those look like. They're beautiful. I said, wow. And all of a sudden, you know, I sort of woke up again. I was awake all the time. I don't drive. But dreaming. You can dream a little and drive. So I came over the horizon. There was the alien cafeteria, and it was all green, and it had these alien pictures all over it. And we pulled in, it was closed. But I took my nap there. I always take my nap. Gotta take. At my age, you take naps. What are they called? Power naps, yes. And so we took off out of there, and I drove. And as we were going, I started floating off again, and I thought about a year before. And I was driving across the Mojave Desert, and we broke down. And it was the third time our transmission had went out in this other RV weekend. And we were out in the middle of the desert, and I got out of the RV, and I looked back towards the mountains, towards California. And the universe had stopped me to look at this. This was red and black clouds going, with sparks of light going through. It was the most phenomenal view that I had ever seen. I says, do you have to cost me a $2,000 bill to get this transmission fixed to show me this view? I said, wow, and I sort of woke up again. And I was off the extraterrestrial highway. Well, I didn't think much about it. 2 weeks later, I was going like this. Sweetie, I got this big bump behind my neck. She says, you know, I could tell you about mine. We both had these big bumps behind our neck. And I says, wow, I think we've been implanted. So, me and my always imaginative mind, every day I would go back and I would push it and I would download. So I told Terry, you should download, she could look at me. So we went to our dermatologist. He's right over here. His name is David Gorsalowski. And David looked at him and I says, David, it's an alien implant. He says, sure, Roland, it's an alien implant. I says, yes, watch me transmit. You see it? And Dave said, oh, okay, Roland, that's good. Well, this went on for a year. And the next year, Terry and I, well, we went to Cowsey, New Mexico, where she was raised. And Cowsey, New Mexico is 30 miles from Area 51. For us alien fanatics, Sandy. And I didn't pay much attention to it at the time. We went and we saw where she was born, and we saw where her father had a place. We drove on. About a week and a half later, I fell back and I had another bump. I looked at Terry, I said, do you have a bump? She says, no. I said, it's probably because you're native. So, we went on, and we got back to California. And I says, this started to infect. I says, the aliens are fighting, sweetie. Both of them started to join, and they started to get this big thing, and this got really, started to get terrible on my back. I says, gotta go see David. And I went to David, I said, David, we got a problem. I got alien conflicts. And I says, feel that? 2 of them. They must be 2 alien races. And he says, yeah, Roland, you're going to have those removed. So, David proceeded that day to go in, cut, pull those up. I says, look at them under a microscope. So he of course looked at him under a microscope. He says, I see something there, but I can't make it out, Roland. I says, I know what it is. You don't have to tell me. So he says, but they're gone now, Roland. I says, boy, I had a lot of stuff to transmit too. I was sort of upset. And Terry hadn't said anything very much this whole time. She looks at both of me and David, and she says, now, I'm going to be the only one the voices talk to.